This is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite game mechanism in Potion Explosion. Potion Explosion is a game that I played for the first time this past week. I ended up playing 4 times over 2 game sessions, and I really enjoyed it. But after the first time I played it, I wasn't so sure what I thought about it. And I'll explain what that means in a second. First, I want to explain a core mechanism of Potion Explosion, which is you have this big tray of marbles, actual marbles in this tray that you put together. And on your turn, you pick up one of those marbles, and if the result of you picking up that marble is that any 2 or more marbles of the same color end up hitting each other, you get to take those marbles too. And then taking those marbles might set off a chain reaction where you take even more marbles that hit each other of the same color. And so you end up with this, hopefully, this big handful of marbles that you use to complete some objectives. You make these potions with them. But the key thing is the idea that you just picking up this one marble. There are other ways to get marbles too, but the key in the first game that I played was that it seemed a little bit too lucky. Like I felt clever at times because I'd pick up a marble and then you can look ahead, you see this big tray of marbles, and so you have the opportunity to be clever where you take a marble and then 2 other marbles hit each other. And sometimes they'll line up really well, but not always. And somewhat rarely, really, they end up to have a really good chain reaction. So that first game, I thought it was just a little bit reliant on luck, a little bit too much reliant on luck. The second game, and at the end of the game, I kind of looked around and I realized that we hadn't used one of the components. We read the rules for them. We knew this component was there, but we didn't use it. And this is where I think the game really elevates from just a solid game with a little bit too much luck to a great game with really not that much luck at all. And that component are these little tokens that say -2 points and take a marble. Once per turn, at any time on your turn, you can take one of those tokens and pick up a marble from the tray. And our mistake the first game was thinking that usually you would use these tokens after your first pick, after your main pick. Because with these tokens and other ways in the game where you can get a bonus marble draw, it doesn't set off chain reactions. You just get one. And so we thought, okay, well maybe like normally you take your normal draw, you set off maybe a small chain reaction, and then if you need one more marble to complete your potion, you use the -2 token to take a marble. And as a result of that thinking, we never used those tokens. In the second game, I realized that those tokens are so powerful and they really mitigate much of the luck in the game because you can use them before your main pick. And so like you can look at the marble board and before you make your main pick, the one that sets off chain reactions, you can use the -2 token one time to take another marble out. So you can really set up a great chain reaction by making a clever pick with that -2 token. In addition to that, when you complete potions, you can drink each potion one time, and many of those potions give you marbles as well. They might give you 2 adjacent marbles of different colors, or all the marbles in the same row of a color, or just one marble. And so you can use those as well before your first pick, your main pick. Again, those bonus abilities do not set off chain reactions. So really the whole game is about using those -2 tokens and the completed potions to set up the best possible chain reaction when you take your actual pick. I think this is a brilliant mechanism in the game. I am guessing at some point in the game's development that they didn't have the -2 tokens. I'm guessing they had the potion abilities for most of the time, but I bet they didn't have those -2 tokens, and it would have been a solid game. But the designer was really clever to add those -2 tokens for any player to take. Like you can get behind in the game, maybe you haven't completed many potions, you don't have those abilities, but every turn you can still take one of those -2 tokens and set up a brilliant chain reaction by using that token. And that is a great mechanism that the designer added to the game. I really like this. If you play Potion Explosion, I would love to hear your thoughts on your favorite mechanism in the game, or in any game that has some sort of clever luck mitigation. Actually, this kind of ties into what I talked about in my last video, but in the context of this game where you have a game that could potentially require a lot of luck, but you have some key, beautifully designed element that mitigates a lot of that luck, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Thanks.